Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Triboro Podcast. This is episode 114th, where all Yankees fans have taken a couple of feet off of the ledge and have replaced themselves with Mets fans that are now on that same ledge. How are you? And we will have a candid report from a Mets fan on the ledge. Mr. O'Brien, how was it?
Uh, talk to me 2 days ago. The ledge is so far away. I can't even see it. Right now, I'm still just staring down, and it's very tempting.
You're sitting down on it. Your feet are your legs are dangling off.
Yeah, I'm feeling it out, but oh my God, uh, I uh, like you know,
Yeah.
yeah. Can we just get into it?
Crazy week of football.
Sure. New York teams still suck.
All right, we'll get right into it.
Into Queens.
Now entering Queens.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Queens. The Mets have had 3 separate 6-game or more losing streaks this year. The Mets are the 4th worst team by record since mid-June at 33-49. The Mets have had a horrendous trade deadline. The Mets, up until Sunday, lost 8 games straight, the longest losing streak of the season. Somehow, the Mets were swept in 4 games in Philadelphia. The Mets have 3 rookies leading their rotation. The Mets have lost a series to the Rangers over the weekend. The Mets have a hitting coach who mocks fans on Instagram. And yet, the Mets are in a playoff position.
And the Mets are the only team in the modern era to score 4 or more runs in the first inning, but then have nobody reach base the rest of the game and end up losing.
It was a week. They won 1 game. And this was about, I don't know, a foot away from being let me do some quick math. That would be 1, 4, 8, 10. It's about a foot away from being a 10-game losing streak if Edwin Diaz doesn't pull that save out of his ass last week in Cincinnati. Bases loaded, no outs, and he gets out of that. Was how close the Mets were to losing 10 games straight. And somehow, some way, for some godforsaken reason, the Mets still control their own destiny. Before we get into my rant, because this isn't going to be a regular old episode, because I'm over it. My limit was reached on Saturday. But before we get into that, the Mets are somehow a game and a half up on the Giants, 2 games up on the Diamondbacks, 2.5 games up on the Reds. With 12 games to go, the Mets are off on Monday. The Reds, Giants, and Diamondbacks all play on Monday. So the Mets have 14. I lied. The Mets have 12 games. Those 3 teams I just mentioned have 13 games. I am just at a loss for words at this point. And look, they are still in a playoff spot, which is, do keep that in mind. But it is incredibly undeserved. Again, 4th worst team by record since mid-June, 33-49. 16 games under 500. That is worse than the first quarter of 2024. this is a bad baseball team. Don't let that. I'm not gonna let that slide. This is a bad baseball team. The fact that they're still in the playoff spot is, you know, thank you, Rob Manfred, first of all. Second of all, the Giants, Reds, and Diamondbacks are all flawed. 2 out of those 3 teams, being the Giants and Diamondbacks, sold at the trade deadline. The Reds did try to buy. The Mets are only in this position because of how well they played at the beginning of the year. And they've just looked like a shell of that team ever since. And it's just, I don't know what it is. Sure, they won the game on Sunday. Pete Alonso 3-run walk-off home run. Excellent, great, cool. But that doesn't, change the fact that they lost a 1-0 game on Monday. The fact that, you brought it up, Justin, you score 4 runs off of Jesus Luzardo in 1 inning and then don't have a base runner for the rest of the game. 4 runs, 5 hits in 1 inning, 0 runs, 0 hits, 0 walks for the last 8 innings. That's inexcusable. That's pathetic. That's horrible. I don't understand how that happens.
To not
Sean
score,
Manaea. Go
score
ahead.
is one thing. To not have a base runner is that's horrible. Not even a
Right.
guy reach on an error. Like, that's horrible.
Exactly. Not a singular base runner. I could maybe somehow turn around and be like, oh, well, they had the chances, but they didn't. They had no chances.
Like, if they had like 6, 7 base runners the rest of the game, and it's just a thing of like they hit into hard outs, they couldn't knock those guys in. It's like, okay. But
Right.
none when you're, because that was the 4th game of the series, right?
That was the last game of the series.
Yeah, you're about to get swept in a 4-game series, and you come out hot, and then you kind of just take it off because you're like, oh, we did what we had to do. No, the fuck you didn't.
Yeah, that's the popular take you kind of hear. Is like, and that's what it seemed like. It's like, oh, we scored 4 runs. All right, good job, everyone.
That's
Pats
the
on
thing
back,
about
handshake. It's like, no.
That's the thing about baseball compared to any other sport. Each team gets a fair amount of shots. Each team gets 27 outs. You can't run the clock out. You can't play slow. No. They have 27 outs no matter what you do with it. And you cannot give a team like the Phillies that many and be like, okay, we're going to take it off now.
Yeah, we're good. Thanks. But it's just, that was inexcusable. You lose a 1-run game on Monday against Aaron Nola, the first game of the series. I mean, how do you not score a run off of Aaron Nola? Between his 6 scoreless innings against the Mets, he's given up 12 runs in two outings. Like, Aaron Nola isn't good this year, and you somehow made him look like the Aaron Nola of old. I don't get it. You were one of the hottest offenses since August, the best statistically since August, and now in September you have, what's this? Four players with a WRC plus at 100 or higher. Everybody else is hitting below average. Brandon Nimmo has an OPS that starts with a 5. Jeff McNeil has an OPS that starts with a 6. Francisco Alvarez, I'll give him some benefit of the doubt. I'll cut him some slack. He hasn't been fantastic. Mark Vientos has cooled off again. I don't get it. This team is littered with good players who are all having good seasons. The Mets lineup has 1 below average hitter on any given day, which is probably their center fielder.
Which
is
par
whatever.
for the core. Par for the course.
Yeah. Everyone else is above average. I just don't understand how they struggle this much.
Do you think
it's beyond me.
did Because I think the biggest one of that's shocking is Nimmo. I forget. Did he get surgery in the offseason for the plantar fasciitis?
No, I think he just rehabbed it.
Okay. Because I'm
But he's been
curious.
streaky, and nothing has been said if that's still bothering him or not.
Yeah. Because he was, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was one of the worst hitters in baseball for, like, what was it, since the All Star break last year? Like, for 2024?
Yeah,
Because of that
yeah, he
plantar
was
fasciitis.
awful.
Anyone that knows anything about plantar fasciitis is that it will just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And he had it in both feet, right?
I forget if I'm being honest.
But I don't know if it's if it's other injuries are starting to nag on him, because not that he's like a grandpa, but he's starting to get up there in age, and that was the whole story with Nimmo throughout like the first couple years of his career, that he just couldn't stay healthy, couple nagging injuries. So I don't see how a guy that was so good for so long just regresses this bad unless there is some sort of injuries.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at his splits by month, May has a 762 OPS, June 879, July 805, August 833, September 538.
Yeah.
And it's all these guys. You know, Francisco Lindor is barely a league average hitter. He's hitting under 200 for the month. And it's just, again, it's beyond me how this team has just, because this isn't a collapse. They're not collapsing. Like this is just a bad baseball team. You know, a collapse is 2007 when you lose the division up 7 games with 17 games left to go. A collapse is 2022 when all you have to do is not get swept in Atlanta and the division is yours. A collapse is 2021 where you lead the National League East for majority of the year. A collapse is 2023 where you sell at the deadline. This isn't a collapse. This is just a bad baseball team. And when it comes to this, when it comes to teams like this that have the talent, that have the stars, and they struggle, I think I said it before, it's a reflection on the manager, on the coaching staff, and the clubhouse. Carlos Mendoza has not had a fantastic year. Obviously, the record says what you are. This past week has been awful for him. We'll just go, Monday night. Luis Angel Acuna is pinch hitting for Cedric Mullins. Luis Angel Acuna should never grab a bat in his life. Luis Angel Acuna then starts, I think, then 2 out of the next 3 games or 3 out of the next 3 games. Acuna is not a major league hitter. He can bring you defense, he can bring you speed, and that's valuable. Not trying to, I don't know, hit him just because there's a lefty on the mound. That doesn't make sense. Brett Beatty didn't start. Or maybe he started 1 game. I don't even remember. Maybe started 1 game in Philly. Maybe. I don't even think he did. But regardless, Brett Beatty is the 3rd best hitter on this team in September with a 736 OPS, a 109 WRC plus. Starling Marte, who's basically playing over him, his OPS starts with a 5. It's enough with the platoon splits and the lefty-righty stuff. Now, talking here today, there are 12 games left. You have to play your best hitters. It's enough trying to get this guy going or trying to do this thing or trying to, outmanage and do this with your bench. No. Enough's enough. If Starling Marte is cold, he's cold. Don't play him. And if Brett Beatty was doing the same thing, I'd be saying the same thing. If Brett Beatty was cold, don't play him. I know for a damn fact that Luis Angel Acuna is always cold. So don't play him. Just because he's on this roster does not mean he needs to start. Now, I'll give Mendoza some slack with the bullpen moves, because to be fair, it does not matter who he brings in. Everybody, and I mean everybody, has struggled, unless your name is Edwin Diaz. Ryan Helsley has a 12 ERA in September.
And that
Gregory
feels
Soto,
low.
11. Right. Justin Hageman, 10. Reed Garrett, 9. Kevin Hergert's not on the roster anymore. Brooks Raley, 5.4. Ryan Stanek, 4.05. Tyler Rogers and Edwin Diaz are the only two relievers on this team in September with an ERA below 2. It doesn't matter who he brings in. This bullpen is atrocious.
There's no bridge. I think that's the best way to put it. Where you have 9 and 8, you're pretty confident in, and you have so many young guys that you're starting the rotation. The guys that aren't the young guys have had their own fair share of injuries or inconsistencies. So say if you get lucky, you get 6 innings out of them. More likely going to be 5. So then you have to cover 6th and 7th inning with those guys, and with the offense also being inconsistent, the game's probably going to be really close.
Right. It's the same exact issue we had earlier in the season, which is why I continue to bang the table, and I will continue to do so, that the offense is the biggest issue of this team.
The offseason was built on this offense. How much did we talk about before the season where it was how many, where did the Mets offense have to be ranked for them to be an above 500 team? I remember that was a huge discussion we had for the month of April, where it was just like, how good does the Mets offense have to be able to carry the pitching? And there was a while where the pitching just overperformed. They've gone to what I think we all expected them to be, or at least in the expected range of outcomes. The offense just hasn't been there.
Yeah. And if your offense isn't there, if you're down 2 runs in the 7th inning, I'm not using Tyler Rogers. I'm not using Brooks Raley. You go, Ryan Stanek, have an inning. Well, he gave up 4 runs. There goes the game. It's, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's gotten to the point where it's just nothing matters. The decisions don't matter unless your name is Nolan McLean or Brandon Sproat. He had a good second start. You're not going 6 innings. You're not even going 5. You have to give up at least 4 runs in 5 innings. It's a disservice to these rookies, and I think we saw it with Jonah Tong on Friday, that they are now looked at to essentially lead the rotation, which again is unfair to them. Nolan McLean has taken that and ran with it. Nolan McLean is just a different animal. Brandon Sproat has looked good in 2 major league starts. Jonah Tong, the youngest of them, the least polished of them, got his fucking ass kicked on Friday. And I don't care. I'm not mad at Tong. He was obviously rushed. We talked about it. Them calling him up was a complete shock, a complete surprise.
Younger than both of us.
Yeah, exactly. And the issues he had is he's essentially a 2-pitch pitcher. And when he can't spot his fastball, he then has to rely on a changeup, which is a good pitch, but it's not a majority pitch. Now, I didn't get to watch his start because I was at a wedding. But from what I gathered, from what I looked at, they seem to kind of change his approach on things, which I think is a big reason to why he struggled as much as he did. They kind of leaned away from the fastball, which, to be fair, kind of hurt him in Cincinnati. But again, that's Cincinnati. Balls fly. And they just used his off-speed stuff like way too much in my opinion. Like you just gotta. His fastball is special. He has a huge fastball. So that's your best pitch. You just got to use it. And his command also comes and goes as well, which is the other issue. But it sucks for Tong. I feel bad, but
Because also,
it sounds like he's gonna make his next start. So
I was gonna say, like you said, he's a two-pitch pitcher. The worst spot that you can be working on a third pitch is in the middle of a playoff push where every start is do or die, knowing that you have to give this team length because if you don't, they're not winning that game.
yeah, and also doesn't help when you have to go up against Jacob DeGrom.
That too.
There's also that.
Which wasn't like the stat that he had the most run support he ever had at Citi Field
Ever.
in that first inning.
Ever.
Yeah,
Ever. Speaking of which,
that was a dagger, but sure.
yeah. Very upset I couldn't watch the game because of DeGrom, but maybe it's for the best because of how things turned out. But I want to get your opinion on this because this has been a pretty big talking point in the Mets realm. So when a player who played a lot with the team comes back, they'll do the thank you stuff, they'll do the videos. Usually, or most, I would say like a lot of the time, if it's a pitcher, a starting pitcher, they'll play the warm-up music when they take the mound. The Mets did not do that for Jacob DeGrom. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, they don't have to. I like feel like they should have, but I'm not gonna like act like they committed a cardinal sin.
I won't either, but I'm pretty upset they didn't do it.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna go through with it, doing all like the videos, did he win one or two Cy Youngs? Two Cy Youngs, right? Two Cy Youngs with you.
Rookie of the year,
Rookie of the year.
2015 pennant.
Should have done it, but I don't. I think the worst thing was it was the DJ that game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I think that was the bigger.
Friday Night DJ.
Yeah.
Which I mean I get it. Look, it's tough when you give up 6 runs in the first inning before you were able to grab the bat.
But let's maybe
the guy-
move some things around.
Yeah, the entertainment guys that are there need to kind of think on their feet. So it's a tough position for everybody. But I don't know. I think they should have done it. I think it's not a bad look because like it's whatever. It's not. No one's really gonna care that much. But how many more times is Jacob DeGrom gonna be able to pitch on a Citi Field mound? Is kind of where I
For
go
all
with
we know,
that.
that could have been the last time.
Right. And yes, he did get the thank you. Yes, they did play it. I think like during their little thank you thing, I think they played it while he was warming up in the outfield, like long tossing, whatever. But I don't know, taking the mound with your song on in the place you started your career. I think they should have done it, and I think it was a little bit of a not even a missed opportunity, but I think that's just a miss from the Mets.
And I also feel like it's a thing of say that he does have another start at Citi Field and they do play it. It's just gonna be like a
Then
really.
it's just like, oh, you're just making up for the last time when he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So that's whatever. Jacob DeGrom was Jacob DeGrom. My heart still yearns and hurts, but it's still the right decision. Moving on from that. I mentioned it a little bit earlier that when a team like this struggles with this much talent and this much star power, it's on the coaching, it's on the clubhouse. I think it's a reflection on those things, and the vibes for a majority of the season have just felt off. Now, could that just be, hey, they're losing a lot, and sometimes that's just all it is. The vibes aren't going to be good when you're the 4th worst team in baseball for a majority of the year. But it just feels like something's missing in that clubhouse, or just something's not clicking, and I'm just not sure what it is. Again, it just feels like they're missing something. You just can't put your finger on it. What they are missing, which I can put my finger on, is This is like the least clutchest team I've ever fucking watched because they have not had a comeback while trailing in the ninth inning. They are the only team in baseball to not have a comeback win while trailing in the ninth inning. The Rockies have done it. The White Sox have done it. The Mets are the only team not to do that. How the fuck does that happen? It's not even like to the point of, yeah, they're just a bad baseball team. Like, how do you not even luck into something like that?
With the
How?
talent in this offense, especially the top four.
Right. How in the world does somebody not just hit a bloop and a blast? How has that not happened once?
Yeah.
It's insane. And the more I talk about it, it's just like unfathomable how we've gotten to this point. Equally unfathomable how they're still in the playoff spot. So like they control their destiny. If they at this moment, all they need to do is keep pace with all those teams behind them. You know, Giants win, you win. Giants lose, you're allowed to lose. Giants win, you win. Giants lose, you're allowed to lose. Not that you can lose, but if you lose, it's okay. Personally, just because of what I've been watching this entire time, I think the Mets, excuse me, they need to win every series from here on out. The last 4 series, the Padres, the Nationals, the Cubs, the Marlins, they need to win every series. That would put them at 8-4 to end the season. That would put them at 85 wins. And that just about does it. I think they need to sweep the Nationals this weekend, to be honest. You're at home. Last home series of the season. You play hell of a lot better at home. The fact that they are awful on the road is just an issue within itself. And come playoff times, if they're lucky enough to get there, you got to win on the road. But this weekend series against the Nationals, I think, has to be a sweep. There's really no other way around it. You've put yourself in this position where you don't really have a lot of breathing room. So create breathing room. But it's frustrating. It's super frustrating. This is a very disappointing season. Even if they do end up making the playoffs, like this team should have been right in the thick of it for the division. But now they're 12 games back, 12 games to go. You know, the division was over after the first loss in Philly. And it's even equally as frustrating because 3 weeks ago, you swept the Phillies at home and got the division down to 4 games. At that point, you could have taken, you know, a speck of hope and turned it into a division title. But then they just turn around and fucking lose 8 in a row while losing a series to the Marlins, losing a series to the Reds, getting swept in Philly. It's just pathetic. I don't know. I feel like I've been rambling. Justin, you have any thoughts? This is just this is an open discourse. I think I've got most of my thoughts out. So anything you have to
It's.
add?
I think what you said earlier about it not being a collapse is true. It being a bad baseball team, I would disagree with a little bit. I think it's more of a slow burn. If that makes any sense. Where it was like you're really good at the highs of the highs, and then slowly, slow. That you wake up, you look back at like, holy shit, we've been god off the last 3 months.
Yeah.
I think it's more a thing of that than it being a collapse or a bad base. Because my thing too, and it's something I've realized a lot, them adding MLB adding a sixth playoff spot to both leagues completely gotten rid of these dominant teams that we've seen in years past. Now I think that's a good thing overall, but my point is every team in the playoffs is going to be flawed. Because even look at a team like the Brewers, who are so damn good, they don't have that much power, and that's what plays in the postseason. They haven't had the most success in the postseason as of late. So if I give any solace to Mets fans, it's every team is flawed in the postseason, especially more these last couple of years than it has been in the last 10, 15.
And you know, I like that a lot. I'm gonna take it. This is gonna be the positive hour or the positive
The little
5 minutes,
positive spark.
whatever. No, what? Not yet, because I do have a bone to pick with David Stearns real quick. Why the fuck is Ronnie Mauricio still on this roster? I completely forgot about that. I was looking through roster resource and I saw his name. Ronnie Mauricio has barely played. I do not remember the last game he started. Why is he on this roster? He's not good against left-handed pitching, right? So essentially, you are treating him as a left-handed bat. He does not run well, which doesn't make sense as to why he fucking pitch ran on Monday, but whatever. But maybe that's because you fucking used Luis Angel Acuna at the bat. Why is he on this roster? He has not started a game since August 24th. Before that, August 16th, August 15th. I don't understand why he's still on this roster, especially if you treat him as a left-handed bat. You have Jared Young, who was up for about a week, came off the bench, hit a home run, and then got optioned. It doesn't make any sense. That's the last thing I have. Positive hour, positive time. This team is built for the playoffs. They can get so creative with the pitching, especially in a shorter what's it called, series, like the wild card game, the wild card series. You have like, was it 1, 2, 3? You have 7 starters if you want to count Kodai Senga. You know, you could piggyback a lot of them. I think Nolan McLean gets his own start because he's deserved it. He's the best pitcher on this roster by far. I think David Peterson still deserves a playoff start. He struggled, but I still trust him for the most part. But then after that, which the Mets are going to do this coming Tuesday, you can piggyback a Clay Holmes and Sean Manaea. You can piggyback David Peterson and Jonah Tong. You can use Brandon Sproat out of the bullpen. Like, I think the Holmes Manaea piggyback works the best because you start Holmes, which the other team will then stack lefties. But then you bring in Manaea, who is obviously really good against lefties, and then makes the other team use their bench a bunch. The issue is consistency, because even if they do make it, I'm not sure how well they're going to do because I don't know what type of team we're going to get. But on the pitching side of things, it can get super, super creative, and it can be very interesting on how they decide to plan these things out. But, and the other thing, again, they're in a playoff spot. They get to decide if they want to make the playoffs or not. They're not catching up. They're not, they're not tied. They're not behind. If they play well, they're in. So it's up to them. However, they want to be. I think I said that on Saturday. I think I texted in the group chat. if the Mets fall behind the Giants, that's it. Which at the time on Saturday, once they lost, they were tied. I don't think the Mets can play catch up, but I do think they can just fend off, fend off the rest of the teams. So
Your exact words were, "Nah, I'm
Yeah.
out. They're not coming
There
back
it
from
is.
this. Their best shot was holding off the Giants. They're not catching up."
There it is. So thankfully they won on Sunday, and thank God the Dodgers won on Sunday as well. So I'm keeping my expectations minimal. Again, they control their outcome. They control what they want to do. They're not playing catch up. They don't have to right now, but they have to play better. It starts with the offense. Again, in my opinion, it starts and ends with the offense. Oh, also, Juan Soto, 30-30.
Makes
What the
no
fuck?
sense, but
What the fuck? Like,
uh,
let's just talk about that for a few seconds. Juan Soto on the year has 40 home runs, one off his career high from last year, 32 stolen bases, which is his career high by 20, which he set in 2023 and 2019 of 12.
did he say before the year he was going to try and do this? Or, like, try and run more? Like,
Off the top of my head, I want to say no, but I do remember him saying he wanted to do something.
this is, like, ridiculous, though.
And look, shout out to Antoine Richardson, the first base coach of the Mets, because the Mets are like one of the best base stealing teams in baseball. They've slowed down a little because I think the league has finally caught up, but like the success rates I don't have in front of me, but the Mets are like at the top of the list.
Mhm.
They're one of the best base stealing teams on like a per rate basis in the league, which is just insane because this is not a very fast team either. But Juan Soto has a very real chance of 40-40. I mean, eight, eight, eight stolen bases in 12 games. Do you think he gets there?
No.
Neither do
Because
I.
my thing, too, is I think he would have to force it, and the Mets aren't in a position to force it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
If, now, let's say the Mets have, like, a 10-game lead over someone, I
Fuck
could
it.
see him trying to milk it. You know what I mean?
Run
Trying to
wild.
force it. But
Yeah.
not now. You can't, I don't want to say punt on base runners, but you can't just give up base runners trying to get an achievement. Like, cool,
It's not worth the
it'd be a
risk.
cool accolade, but also be cool to make the fucking playoffs.
Right. And look, 30-30 is still sick.
Yeah.
He's the first one to do it this season as well,
Yeah.
which is also what the fuck.
Yeah, if Jazz hits a home run, I believe he'd be the third Yankee in history to do 30-30. So it's not like it's not like this is something big.
Yeah, I think off the top of my head, I know Howard Johnson did it, David Wright did it, Lindor's done it, now Juan Soto. I'm not sure if anyone else has done it.
I'm looking it up. I
We're
got
kind
it.
of okay.
Fifth Met joining Darryl Strawberry, Howard Johnson.
Strawberry did do it.
Howard
Okay.
Johnson did it 3 times, David Wright and Lindor.
Yeah, okay. I missed Strawberry. But still, that's sick. That's super cool. Again, for a guy who does not steal bases. And now we look at his overall numbers, 40 home runs, 114 runs scored, 98 RBI, 32 stolen bases. He's hitting 262 and near 400 on base, 525 slug, 156 WRC plus, 5.4 WAR.
It still feels like something's
Down
missing.
year. I agree. I agree.
I think it's on, because say what you want about the batting average, he's not a 260 hitter in the way that he approaches, and I feel like even 400 on base is lower. I feel like he should almost be like at like 280 and like a 415 on base.
Yeah, I
That
mean
kind of.
his 262 average would be his lowest since 2022. His on base at 396 would be his lowest ever. His 525 slug would be
Pretty high up there, I would say, probably.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. That's like right in the middle of it. And 156 WRC plus is like about a career. I mean, his career WRC plus is 158, and he's at 156.
Yeah.
So
Call it a
this
wash.
is literally about an average year of Juan Soto,
Yeah.
which is a top 5 hitter in the game.
Yeah.
14 years. But quickly look ahead, and we'll take it off because that's really all I had. I had to get that out. I had to just get my frustrations out. Thank God they won Sunday, because this would have just been scorched earth.
Oh my God.
I was ready to come in with off-season talk, coaching talk, stuff like that. I will say they do need to get rid of the hitting coaches. I think that's a guarantee. I no matter what happens, I think the hitting coaches are gone. I think that's a guarantee. Forget about what you want to say about the actual on-field production, which I think has an issue. The fact that your hitting coach is, consistently on Instagram and, sometimes mocking fans, not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool. But hopefully we can save that for the offseason. Because coming up, you have 3 games with the San Diego Padres, and then, like I mentioned earlier, 3 games with the Washington Nationals. Padres, really good team, bolstered up in the trade deadline. They're good. So this is the series where it's like, all right, if you want to get some faith back from the fan base, you take this series. Clay Holmes versus Michael King. Sean Manaea will be coming out of the bullpen on Tuesday after Clay Holmes, so they're going to try the piggyback there. David Peterson will pitch Wednesday against Nick Pivetta, and then Jonah Tong. It says Dylan Cease is the projected starter, but I think Randy Vasquez might be pitching, so I'm not sure who's going to go there. But the interesting thing is, and all I will say, is if the Mets somehow sweep this team, they will only be 2 games out of Wild Card 2. It would be pretty funny. That's all I say. Take the series, win back the fan base, sweep the Nationals, really win back the fan base. Just play better baseball. Like, you control your destiny, your outcome, your final product on the field. You're not catching up. You're just pushing back. Some quick magic numbers before I hand it off to you, Justin. Giants, Diamondbacks, and Reds all at 11. Magic number over the Cardinals is 8. So that's any combination of Mets wins, Giants, Diamondbacks, Reds, Cardinal losses. Play better. And, don't make all this suffering for naught. That's all I had. So, Justin, if you had anything else, take us away.
If they do what they did against the Marlins, or they had a home series against a pathetic team with the Nationals, oh boy.
That'd be another scorched earth episode.
That will be something. But if you had nothing else, that will take us away into the Bronx.
Now entering the Bronx.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into the Bronx. Like Mr. O'Brien just went on a rant for a while, I'm going to be starting this one off with a rant, and the rant has to do with your injury update brought to you by the Triboro MD. Anthony Volpe has a partially torn labrum. What did we all say? Because he partially tore it on May 3rd. They did not say anything. I think he sat out for a game or 2, then played in every game since. Been playing pretty much every single game. And what did we say when that injury happened?
That one hurts.
That it looked very similar to the Trevor Story play where he tore his labrum. And there were multiple other stories or plays, you look at it side by side, exact same thing. It looked like it. And I said I would not be surprised if Something happened there at that point, and we never were told about it. Because the Yankees have a thing where it's either misdiagnosing or lying about injuries about their players, and then after that, they're like, hey, it was like, yeah, he was kind of dying. Like, what? I'm thinking of Anthony Rizzo having the concussions for 2 months. I'm thinking of Aaron Judge having a punctured lung for 2 months, and the Yankees not knowing about it. And playing in the playoffs through a punctured, with like a broken rib that's like slightly puncturing a lung. They had no idea about it. So many other injuries that you go up and down. They didn't know that. I forget who the player was. I want to say it was Chase Headley. They didn't know he needed glasses because he just couldn't see the ball. I want to say it was Headley. It may have been someone else. I think it was someone from like 2017, 2018 time. Clint Frazier had vertigo, and they had no idea how to treat that. You could go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down the list, where it's so many stories where it's like, something's clearly not right.
Yeah.
And they said they saw a partially torn labrum, but they thought it was due to a prior injury. And
Huh?
he re-aggravated it multiple times throughout the year, they said. Couple of
How
stats
could this have happened?
before and after the shoulder injury. Before, 768 OPS, +1 fielding run value. After, 626 OPS, -8 fielding run value. Now, I'm not saying this all has to do with the injury, because it is in his left side. He obviously throws with his right. But I feel like you've seen so many more errors ever since this shoulder injury.
We talked about it last week. Most of his errors are throwing errors,
Yeah.
which I mean, I guess doesn't really.
But still, like you're throwing, you're
I
getting
know.
torque.
Right.
You know what I
don't
mean?
know
You're
if-
still
You
torquing.
just don't know how that's affecting him.
Especially a labrum too. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if people know this, but if you're doing anything with your upper body, you are using your shoulders. You are using your labrums. Anything in your upper body, pretty much. So it's not like it's like a broken pinky or something like that. No, it is a muscle that you are using for literally everything. So it's a joke. And I don't know if you saw this part about it, but during the All-Star break, he got a cortisone shot in it, and then
Mhm.
had probably the 2 best weeks of the season after the cortisone shot.
Right.
That's
yeah.
more of why I think this is bothering him a lot, because he got the cortisone shot in time to rest, and he came out strong.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing I could point to. You could also say that's always been Volpe, just like getting more rest, plays better. But how the fuck are you going to let him play with a partially torn labrum?
Yeah. That's just.
And even
Yeah.
worse, they're saying they don't think he's going to have to go on the IL for this.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not really sure. I mean, we've talked about it. It's kind of one of those things where like, you can help the player only as much as the player wants to be helped. But when
Yeah.
it's something like a torn XYZ, I feel like you just gotta take some initiative and be like, hey, sit out. Or like, because what when was that injury?
May 3rd,
May 3rd, because it's like,
a month into the season.
say he got surgery,
Mhm.
that would probably put him out for the season,
Oh,
right?
100%.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, but at the same time, playing through it, and it's a tough situation. But I don't know.
I
It's just
could
it's definitely
see.
one of those things where it's like, why is this now just a
I was
thing?
going to say, I could see them wanting to see if he could play through it a little bit, if the player's
Yeah.
hand's okay. But after like a month, and you can see it's clearly an issue,
Yeah,
like what
for
the fuck
sure.
are we doing? Because it truly is a thing of Anthony Volpe at this point is a fringe major league player, and that's being generous to call him that.
Yes.
If this this can fuck him up longer just because he waited to get the surgery, this could ruin his career, and that's not even hyperbole to say.
Right.
So, to me, I don't see how you don't shut him down.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have someone like Caballero on
Who's been playing incredible.
the roster.
That's another thing too. I feel like it's only coming out now because they kind of decided that they're gonna go with Caballero for a lot more playing time. So I think that's why it's coming out now. which
Yeah,
is
sure.
also kind of dumb, in my opinion. Just because the thing of
Right.
like, you tried making all these bullshit excuses up for him so much, so much, so much. When you had the easiest get out of jail free card there, that he has a partially torn labrum. If
Yeah.
they would have told us this a
Pretty
couple
big.
of months ago, people would have been a lot more sympathetic to him.
Right. Oh, all right. Fair enough.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But now you do it now, and it makes it seem like you're just making excuses for him.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely frustrating,
I,
but oh, you kind of have no excuse not to now, in my opinion.
put
I
him
mean,
on the
like
aisle.
he's yeah, I don't. He's not gonna get better magically. Like, what, you gonna give him a cortisone shot before every game?
I'm pretty
Like,
sure you could only get a certain amount of cortisone shots in like a certain amount of
right.
time.
Like, you just have a vulnerable player on your roster. Like, to be fair, who would you replace him with? I think is the other thing. Just bring what? You bring back Escar again?
I think whoever you call up's just not going to play.
Right. So it's kind of like, eh.
I mean, you could probably get a pinch runner.
Right. If
You know
you've
what I
come
mean?
this far, because
Yeah.
correct
So,
me if I'm wrong, Cabrera's not coming back this year, right?
um,
'Cause I feel like we haven't heard
no, no, no,
anything
no,
of
no,
him.
no.
Yeah, he's done. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like you've it's like too little, too late. Like, why now? I guess.
Yeah. By the way, this is Google AI, so say what you want about it. Typically you
Crap.
can't have more than 3 injections per joint per year.
Ah, well, there you go.
But then again, they also don't have access to the Yankees medical technology.
Right. So
So,
who knows if it's something different or
yeah,
whatever.
but I don't see how you don't do it. He just needs to get surgery on it. It's a thing. It's not going to get better. Because even it's a
Yeah.
thing of like, oh, we think it was a prior injury that he just re-aggravated. Then what's going to stop him from re-aggravating it in the future if you don't just get the surgery?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're just playing with the guy's career at this point. That if you don't let him get healthy, and there, the only argument I could see is that you shut him down for the rest of the season, but then have him play in the postseason because there's a lot more rest involved between days off, days on, and have him almost
Yeah.
as like a thing like maybe only playing against lefties because he is better when he gets more rest. Yada yada yada. I don't agree with that, but I could see them doing that.
Yeah. And it's also the other thing, like, unless you're gonna be like, hey, we're gonna shut you down. It's kind of like if he wants to play through it, I don't know. I mean, like, again, you can't really force a guy to sit out.
I mean, you
I
tell
mean,
him you're on the
I
IL
guess you
then.
could. Yeah, I think that's the only thing.
That
So
like if you tell him like yeah you're on the IL and you're not playing like there's nothing you could do. Like we let you have
right,
leeway. You're obviously playing compromised, so you haven't done enough.
yeah,
Obviously you say that in a different way, but
maybe a little nicer, but yeah.
um speaking of which, I have a comment that someone close to the Yankees said about a Yankee player. I was like, damn. You'll we'll get into it.
Oh,
Someone
okay,
very close to the Yankees. Well, I like it though.
okay, okay.
We'll get into that, but what a joke this whole situation is. Whichever way you want to cut it, handled horribly. I talked enough about this. We had a lot of games that happened, but I'm not going to talk about the first two against the Tigers because those sucked donkey cock. The bullpen just imploded. It was back-to-back games where the bullpen let up 10 runs. I forget how many it was exactly, but I think it was 8 runs that Fernando Cruz and Mark Leiter gave up in the first game without getting an out.
My sweet princess,
It was bad.
love you forsaken me.
But then Cam Schlittler, game 3, saved the series against the Tigers. Went six innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. I want to talk a lot about him because there are so many things that we could go into with Schlittler. And we almost said like how he, or at least I said, how he bounces back this start will prove if he's a good pitcher or not. Because a lot of young guys, they'll get shit on. That just happens. They're not used to it. Maybe they're developing a pitch, whatever it may be. But based off how they bounce back against a good Detroit Tigers team, that matters a lot. And just couple of stats that I'm going to go over. Over his last 6 starts, 2.01 ERA, 1.99 FIP, 3.12 expected FIP. Disgusting. The thing that I think you'll love this the most. So his first 5 starts. So for people that don't know what location plus is essentially just how well you locate with a pitch. Pretty self-explanatory. His first 5 starts, the curveball had a location plus at 85. Cutter had a location plus at 82. Last 6 starts, 116 on the curveball, 120 on the cutter. So that's about 31% higher on the curveball, 38% higher on the cutter. And you kind of look at the chart of where it is before and after, there's like no pitches in the middle of the zone. It's all in on left, or the cutter is a lot in on lefties, on righties, it's away. For that, curveball is down, 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 down. If you look at the first 5 starts, there was a lot in like high in the zone and middle of the zone. So he's just been locating a lot better. And you even said like he needs that 3rd and 4th pitch. He never really had that. Him adding that, I am so excited for him down the stretch because I don't see how he's not a playoff starter at this point. Because, I mean, it depends. In a 3-game set, I could see why they would like Luis Gil, and I'll get into that later. But I don't see how in a 4-game set you put Will Warren in over him.
Yeah. No, definitely.
But yeah, love that from him. Then can't forget the thing with Judge, that he tied and then went ahead of DiMaggio in the same game for the home run record. And if the Yankees lost on 9/11 in the Bronx, like, really? Like, just pack this shit up. Like, just pack it the fuck up. But yeah, the Tigers here, I don't know how to feel about the Tiger series because it really is a thing of the bullpen just had an I think it was the first time ever the Yankees have let up that many runs or have had two 9 or more run performances from the bullpen in back-to-back games in like Yankee history. So it literally was just a unprecedented suck fest from the Yankees bullpen. Yeah, seriously.
I think that's kind of how you just look at it. It's just like,
Yeah.
all right, fuck, that fucking sucks. Move on.
Especially because they've done very well in the other 3 series. Because that was the only series out of the 4 series they lost. And you went into Fenway. I think they did a phenomenal job in what they did. Game 1, you win that game, I'd say relatively handily. You had Aaron Judge having a home run in the first. Then Luis Gil, I have no idea how the fuck to feel about him, dude. 6 innings, no hits, no runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. Do we just have to come to terms with he may just be Blake Snell?
Yeah.
Like, I think that it may just be at that point. Or he just may be a guy that doesn't let up hits, walks a village, strikes out a lot.
And if that's how you're gonna live, then so be it.
It's gonna be frustrating as hell to watch.
It's not a pretty watch. Like, it's not gonna be fun to watch. But at the end of the day,
it works.
if you put that, yeah, if at the end of the season you're like, oh, a 3.4 ERA with a 1.4 WHIP. Okay.
Yeah. And I kind of talked about it a little bit too, that David Cohn brought up a really interesting point and that's not the only time that I'll be mentioning David Cohn as a little teaser to what I was talking about earlier, that if hitting with runners in scoring position is a skill, why isn't pitching a runner in scoring position seen as a skill? I think there's something to that, but
I think that's fair.
You know what I
think
mean?
also just for a pitcher, I feel like there's just a lot more out of their control, I guess.
Maybe.
But I think that's fair. I think
more on the psychological part of dealing with it, knowing what the hitter's trying to do, and offset them from doing what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it looks bad now, but like think about it. The first half of Kodai Senga, like it felt like every time there's a runner on base, he would strand him. And look, that is technically not sustainable. those things usually do come back to relative average, but absolutely, I think there is some merit to seeing that as a skill.
Yeah. Definitely gonna have to see it more before saying
Yeah.
like, oh, this is 100% a thing.
Right.
Gonna have to wait on that. And I feel like the best pitchers, that's just what they do. They know how to get out of those jams.
Mhm.
Yeah, feel I feel like my perception of the bullpen has just gone so flipped on top of its head the last couple of games, because now I think Fernando Cruz is broken. I think Devin Williams is back, because Devin Williams had 2 high leverage appearances in the first game and the second game, pitched pretty damn well in those appearances. Fernando Cruz, in his last 3 appearances, he's given up runs, and the last 2 he's given up a home run. The last 2 were against the Red Sox. So
He's, I don't know, maybe you can chalk it up to, I mean, he's not really
not pitching much as
just
of
getting
late,
back.
and then
Like,
I don't know. But that's what I mean about how it's just so.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not ready to make a
I mean,
decision on Fernando Cruz, but my worry meter is up there.
besides the blow up against Detroit, I mean, yeah, he gave up a run
Mhm.
in the past 2, and then the 5 runs against Detroit, but
Yeah. But it's just the seeing it in
yeah.
like the span of 5 days, giving up runs
Yeah.
3 different appearances.
No, fair. Completely
That's
fair.
so worried about that. Hopefully that regresses to the positive mean that we know Fernando Cruz could be. Then second game, nice. You hit Brian Bayo. Good job.
Thank
Congrats. Max Fried did his job. Alex Bregman had a Mickey Mouse home run off of the pesky pole. Which is
Pesky.
it's one of the weirdest. This isn't me complaining. It's just one of the weirdest ballpark configurations like ever.
For sure.
Whole stupid fucking Fenway. But the biggest 2 stories I want to say is talk about his 2 lefty hitters that are gonna make so much money. I'm not one that you're thinking about, though. Cody Bellinger had this absurd at bat off Aroldis Chapman in the 9th inning. I want to say it was like a 10-11 pitch at bat where it's just foul. Ended up driving in, I believe, was Judge to give the Yankees a huge insurance run. But then the other lefty that I think made an absurd amount of money was Jazz Chisholm. Because he had another home run. He is now 1 homer shy of a 30-30 season.
Missing time.
While missing time. If you look at his last 162 games with the Yankees, because he's played 162, he went 40-40. So,
Very
it's...
impressive.
This is obviously a topic for later down the line, because unless a, like, historic collapse happens, the Yankees are going to make the playoffs, so we're not going to talk contracts yet. But Cody, they got to get early on Jazz. And Cody Bellinger, it's going to be so interesting to see what they do with him and Grisham, if they can even afford to choose one. But, again, conversation for another day. We'll get into that later. Last game of this Red Sox series, Will Warren had... I had a very stressful day on Sunday. I was running around doing a tournament while trying to watch the Cowboys-Giants game, while watching one of the craziest football games of all time, while chasing people down, while doing a million different things. I finally get in my car to go on a 2-hour drive. Get in my car at 7:05, put the game on, start driving. Right as the game's about to begin, ESPN says, hey, if you're looking for the Yankees game, not on this channel, idiot. So I was like, really? Gotta change it over. Halfway through the first inning, it changes back, and then it's a this, and then it's a that, and then But me getting in the car and watching Will Warren give up 6 runs in the first inning was brutal. Absolutely brutal. I forget if it was either the second or third inning. But as everyone knows, David Cohn is the third guy in the booth for Sunday Night Baseball. Will Warren kind of looked back at the bullpen, just to see if anyone's warming up. And this is paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact words, but it's kind of like this sentiment. He said, why are you looking back there? Nobody is coming. Suck it up and figure out a way to get innings. The way he said it, though, wasn't in like a way he was like being a dick. It was more of like a
Yeah.
fatherly way
Right.
where he was like, "No one's coming to help you. It's on you. Figure it out."
Right. Figure it out.
I. It sounds dumb, but I don't know why that stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I just loved it. And to Will Warren's credit, he did. He ended up going five innings, didn't allow another run in the second through fifth inning, and the end numbers aren't gonna look good, but what he did for this bullpen is massive because you're about to play 7 more straight games. And yeah, it's not against the highest quality of competition, but you need to win these games. You need to win every single one of these games that you can. And I'll get into the kind of, not reasons why, obviously, but kind of like how it maps out and like magic numbers, records for the Yankees to go. But you need to win as many games as possible. Him being able to eat innings, awesome. And I think a very underrated part about all of this is that the Yankees almost came back in this game. They were pretty close to coming back in this game. Crochet shut them down for a while, but they ended up hitting 2 home runs off him. It was Stanton, I believe it was Judge that had this. No, it was Stanton
Caballero,
Rosario.
no?
What?
I thought Caballero hit a home run. Was that not off?
I don't think it was off
Crochet?
him though.
Oh shit.
I want to say it was no, it was Rosario and Judge. My fault. They both had home runs off him. They tagged Crochet for 3 runs in 6 innings. For how they've done against him recently, that's all. He also had 12 strikeouts, but for how I know, right? I also think it's a confidence thing for Judge because outside of that one huge home run he had against Crochet, I'm pretty sure he struck out in every single other at bat against Crochet. Not hyperbole.
Yeah.
Awesome that they almost came back. Good to see that they didn't just like kind of lay down and be like, "Oh, we took 2 out of 3. The stretch is over." Like, "Oh, it was a good." No, they tried coming back on Sunday Night Baseball. Didn't happen, but I like to see that fight. And I like how they kind of said like they kind of sent that message to Boston like, "Yeah, we're not just going to roll over and die." So, great. You obviously added a game of separation between you and Boston because you won the series. The Blue Jays, of course, swept the Orioles. Well, before I get into all of that, a kind of recap of Aaron Judge during the quote-unquote Yankees gauntlet. 14 hits, 232 WRC+, 500 on base, 5 home runs, 725 slugging. He's officially fucking back.
I was gonna say, I think insert the John Wick.
Oh, I was thinking more the "Hello, we're back" department. I'd like to file a claim.
That works as well.
That one.
That works as well.
Yeah, he's on fire right now. Good. Fuck you, Cal Raleigh.
Perfect.
And I forget if I said this on the podcast. Do you know that Aaron Judge never has had a season hitting homers in the 40s?
I think you did mention that once, like a few months ago.
It's a very. He's in the 40s right now. I think he's at like 45 right now. Very niche stat. I just thought it's funny, but
it's hilarious.
He's at 363 home runs. He's 4th all time for the Yankees because he passed DiMaggio. Top is Ruth at 659. He's not getting there. Mantle at 536. Gehrig at 493. Does he get Gehrig?
493.
I believe he's under contract for 5 more years.
That's 130.
130 on the dot.
130 home runs. 5 more years, you said?
Yeah, I believe it's 5 more years. Maybe 6 actually.
Well, let's see. He is a free agent after
so
the
3, 4,
2031
5.
season.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 6. So you're right. 6 seasons. I mean, even if he averages 30 home runs, right? Because 30 times.
Yeah, that would be 180.
Yeah,
so that would pass. That would pass Gehrig.
I think so. I think so.
Think that he either passes Mantle or he doesn't pass Gehrig. I think if he passes Gehrig, he also passes Mantle. But if he doesn't, like obviously if he doesn't
Yeah.
pass Gehrig, he's not going to pass Mantle. But
Oh,
I
I
don't
see
think
what you mean though.
I don't think he finishes between them. He either finishes
Okay.
second or fourth. That's my hot take.
Yeah.
That is way down the line. But I think that it's a
Crazy to
cool
think about.
thing to just talk about, to mention, because
Yeah, for
obviously, like,
sure.
cementing yourself in the history, kind of showing
Yes.
how you look at a lot of the other numbers and you look at, like, the per game numbers, and it's like, holy shit, Aaron Judge is on another level when it comes to the per game stuff. And
Yeah.
it's so funny because he has, like, half of their RBIs, or like a third of their RBIs,
Yeah.
just because he's on such a, like, insane home run stretch.
But
And
his strikeouts, and his batting average.
hold my fucking nuts. But yeah, absurd stretch that he's on right now. Then a couple of other things. I already mentioned Devin Williams. I have no idea how the fuck they're gonna do him. One guy that I wanted to talk about before getting into the playoffs, all that, is I don't know what to do with Austin Wells, man. I really don't. He had a 4 strikeout game on Saturday. 67 WRC plus in the second half. The one thing you look at is a 242 BABIP in the first, 183 in the second. But even then, a lot of the other numbers were coming down. I know his strikeout rate went up. His walk rate, I think, went up a little bit. So maybe it's a thing if he's just too patient and he's not really being as aggressive. I don't know what you do with him. Because it really is a thing of the scouting reports in the minors could not have been more wrong about him. Or he's an awesome defender, just can't find any consistency with the bat.
Yeah, it's a shame. But I mean, I think what you do with him is you treat him like a backup catcher. I think this year is kind of lost, if you want to say that, and he's still going to put up like almost 3 WAR. But
that's another crazy thing too. That like he's
right.
just so good defensively. I think
So I think you just kind of chalk it up.
I think you almost put him in a strict platoon.
That's
where a Goldie Austin Wells platoon.
Right.
In the sense of if there's a lefty on the mound, then Paul Goldschmidt's going to be at first, Ben Rice at catcher. If there's a righty on the mound, Ben Rice is going to be at first, Austin Wells at catcher.
Now, what if I told you Austin Wells is somehow hitting lefties better than righties?
I don't see how you can't play all three though.
No, I know.
So that's the thing.
It's not by much. I mean, it's a 93 WRC plus versus an 89. So like
that's so negligible, and I'm sure the lefties are in such a smaller amount of sample size.
Yeah, he has 116 at bats against lefties, 225 righties.
Yeah, so double the at bats. But oh, hi there, dogs. Really hope that is not picking up on my microphone. I'm checking the audio levels.
I hear him.
You hear them?
I
But I don't. I don't think it's picking up on there. Whatever.
They're telling you Austin Wells is gonna be okay.
He's got the dog.
This year
he's got the dog. Which I don't know. Frankly, I don't know what you do with him. It feels like there is a kind of the group of the Yankees young guys that, at least for the hitters, that it feels like, all right, we like some things that we saw from them this year and last year, but we can't play them right now. We have to go with the established veterans. So the way, especially with how good the veterans are playing, because I think Dominguez got 1 start in the Red Sox series, but even that, like before then, just nothing.
He's barely starting, yeah.
Yeah, so.
And that's where you're at the season. Like what I said with the Mets. Enough of, I gotta get this guy going. Oh, let's get the platoon advantage. Enough. If this guy's hot, you play him. If he's cold, you don't. Done.
Yeah. But then you look at the rotation. The rotation outside of 2 guys is all homegrown young guys.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was that. Playoffs are about to get wonky as hell. Because let's talk about the Yankees first, and then I'm going to talk about the AL West. Because that is a shit show right now. Yeah. But the Yankees right now, they have 13 games left, and the Yankees have to win 4 more games than the Blue Jays. The Yankees go 13-0. The Blue Jays win the division with a 9-4 record. So, 5 more games. Sorry, my math was a little bit off there. So if wait,
You
yes,
do it.
the Yankees go 12-1, Blue Jays go 8-5. Yankees go 11-2, Blue Jays go 7-6. 10-3, 6-7. The Yankees legitimately need to go 11-2, and Toronto to have a under 500 record for them to win the division. That being said, Yankees have a very easy schedule. We've talked about it for a while. The Blue Jays play 7 games against Tampa, 3 against Boston, 3 against the Royals. Boston and the Royals, they're playing for the playoffs. Royals not as much. They're, I think, 5 games out in the third wild card spot, but they still are trying to make a desperate last second push. Boston's obviously trying to get that 4th wild card spot, if not win the division. And the Yankees are playing people that have their golf trips already booked. So there's still a chance. Doesn't look likely, but it's fucking annoying that the Yankees go 7-5 in a hard ass stretch, win 3 out of 4 of the series, and they lose ground.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
But anyways, that's that. They're 2 ahead of the Red Sox in the loss column, but they're essentially 1 game ahead of the Red Sox to actually finish ahead of them because the Red Sox have a tiebreaker. Yada, 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 yada. We mentioned that a lot of times. But now on to the AL West. The Mariners now have the lead on the AL West. And so Houston is now in the third. What'd you say?
I said, woo, 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 woo. My
Houston's
Mariners.
in the third wildcard spot. The Rangers are only 2 games behind Houston, and they start a 3-game series tonight.
Man.
And then they play the Rangers play the Marlins, the Twins, and then the Guardians. There's a realistic chance that Houston doesn't make the playoffs.
What a shame that would be. Wouldn't it?
Now, there's also a very realistic chance that the Yankees' path to the playoffs, or to the World Series, is Red Sox, Blue Jays, Astros.
That would be something.
So, you want to talk about slaying your demons?
Yeah, really.
That's the way. That's the way to do it. But yeah, this playoffs, I can't wait to see where everything's at next week.
I know.
It's
I can wait.
You-
I don't
because
want
I feel like the NL is pretty set in stone for the most part,
Stop. Shut your mouth. You shut your whore mouth.
except for one spot.
Seeds 1 through 5 are set.
Yes, but the entire AL is the two divisions aren't set. There's gonna be the AL West. Who the fuck knows makes it out of there? The Guardians could take that 3rd spot still. So it's gonna be chaos.
Oh yeah.
What?
I said, oh yeah.
So I got nothing else. Unless you had anything else to say, this was more of a thing of you got through your tough stretch. Now you got your easy games. You have to dominate these last games. At the very least, that 3-game wildcard series better be at Yankee Stadium. It cannot be at Fenway. I know you just took that series at Fenway. You cannot play a 3-game wildcard series there.
Yeah. Perfectly said. I think the last thing I will add is just don't play down to your competition.
Yeah.
Which they've been known to do.
And unless there's a historic collapse, you are playing the Red Sox in that series.
Yeah, you're going for the wild card. I'm sorry.
Well, no,
division's over.
I was more so saying unless the Red Sox collapse and they fall to 3rd.
Oh, unless the Red Sox.
And then you play.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Whoever
more
else,
of what
okay.
That's more what I meant. But
Also fair enough. But the last thing I'll say about playoffs is I find it funny how going into the year, like, wow, the AL sucks, blah blah blah. The last wild card team for the NL is probably going to win 84, 85 games. Yeah, so funny how that that turned out, but
and the annoying thing is that the Yankees would be the division leaders in the AL West by like a healthy margin. And how far are they behind the Tigers? If you have it up right there.
I just closed it.
AL playoff standings. I got it.
can get it quick.
They have, yeah, they're one behind the Tigers in the loss column.
There you go.
So say what
Hmm.
you will about that, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I
Hmm.
I also think that the NFL should reseed in the playoffs. Like if you or not the NFL, the MLB. Like say that it's who would it be? The 3 seed versus the 6 seed, then the 4 and the 5 seed versus each other. If the 6 seed wins or the 3 seed wins, then it should reseed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's what makes it fun,
I think reseeding makes it more enjoyable.
I guess. I don't know. I don't like kind of like the whole like, oh well, better team gets to play the worst team, blah blah blah. Like whatever. I don't know. Like it's
I think it's more rewarding for finishing with the best record that you get the worst team.
yeah, fair. I think it. I think the other thing is it has like that much less meaning for baseball, just because of the nature of the sport.
Yeah,
Like, but I see it. I can see it both ways.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was just something I thought about on the car ride. But anyways, that's all I got. If you had nothing else, take us away.
Yeah, so that's all we had. Obviously, two very different weeks for our teams here, but this is the stretch run. This is really where things are decided, and you can either forget what happened earlier or you can make that define your season. So, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you're watching us on YouTube, leave us a comment, subscribe, like, helps us out. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Follow all of our social media accounts at Triboro Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. We post lineups, final scores every single day, so you get a little bit more of a daily update there. But with that being said, we'll see you next week with probably a much clearer picture of where things will
I
stand.
hope a much
So we'll
clearer
see you then.
picture.
So do I. We'll see you then.